Ah, deep draft of refreshing beverage to start a live stream. I'm just double checking on the technical front. I am, in fact, streaming to YouTube tonight. The system messed up on me the other night and wasn't streaming live. Okay, that's fucking weird. What's that? Seeing something. Yep, right, fuck off. I don't know what you are. I think I'm slightly out of focus, so I'm going to play with the settings and sing a song while I do that. Right. Where is the focus? Focus all. Yeah. And out of focus, and in focus, and out of focus. And I think, yep, that's sharp focus. I think, hello, Mega Leech. Hello, Peter, if you're still there. I see you did leave a message on Facebook. I don't know if you're actually watching the streamer Rooney or not, as the case may be. As my lockdown hair continues to do strange things. And I'm too lazy to color it, so I've got my Santa beard. Hello, Glee. Hello. And hello, Strictly Sega and Silumi. Hello. What's the best colloquialization, shortening of your name? Silumi? Sir? Lumi? PJ? Which of these? Ah, yes, Glee. I always play with the settings. That's a rule of mine in life. Yes, well, it's not so much staying up till 9 p.m., but, roaming the streets till 9 p.m. is exciting. We actually had a bet in our household. The Mrs. Angry won because she was the closest. She thought all the stage 4 stuff was going to go for another 4 weeks. And I went, no way, politically, he just can't. That's too full on. I said I thought he'd get rid of the curfew and the 5-kilometer limit and maybe keep everything else. And I was wrong. Kept those, although made the thingy a bit late. Toby, why am I also on Twitch? Why not on Twitch? Who knows where people may want to find me? I just basically stream to multiple platforms, usually Facebook, YouTube, and more recently Twitch. At one point, I tried to sort of seriously focus on Twitch, but there were just bits of it I didn't like, so I just stream to Twitch. And roll the dice. Let them land where they may. I know you can do all sorts of flash stuff. I watch a few Twitch streamers, and I see you can have all this, sort of flash stuff on Twitch, which is kind of neat. I just don't have the mental bandwidth to basically learn Twitch on top of everything else. I'm old and I'm lazy is the answer, okay? And that actually answers many questions about my life. I am old and I am lazy. So that's the thing. Glee, Nolt's back on Twitch. I noticed Nolt's resurfacing a little recently. Putting some videos on YouTube, mentioned that he's getting divorced, which he's not happy about. Yes, that's very old school YouTube. Kevin Nolte. I think I met him. I think I did. At YouTube Live, I think I met him. He was friends with people I was friends with, so I probably met him. At least he's he's definitely in the background of videos that I shot at YouTube Live. So many years ago, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, more. See, this is still funny because YouTube's been around so long now. The first wave of teenage stars are fucking 30 now, which I find hilarious, because they kind of crystallized in my mind as teenagers or maybe 20-year-olds. The fact that they're 30 is wild. Hello, Fletcher. Silly. Oh, tingly lips from spicy noodles. Tasty. Yes. Toby, say hello to Celtic King for me. I made popcorn chicken, like fried chicken, and so yes, I basically just got some chicken and chopped it up into little pieces and marinated it, flavored it with herbs and spices, just like the Colonel, and then breaded it and shallow fried it, and it was yummy. I've often considered getting an air fryer. They seem really cool. So let me. Okay, I'm making you feel old. Well, that it's all relative, the age thing, but yeah, because you were a teenager when I met you, weren't you? Charlie, raised on the Goons. Yes, for those who didn't pay attention to the title of this stream, it's Goons Day. Because I always, or not always, but almost always, spend a little bit of time before a live stream looking up significant aspects of today, like does someone declared it the day of something? Did a major event happen on this date? Is someone interesting's birthday or death day? As I was scrolling through the list in Wikipedia today, it's really funny because it subconsciously registered at first birthdays. It goes to Harry Secombe, Peter Sellers. I was going through and I was going, wait, Harry Secombe and Peter Sellers really have the same birth date? They're about 5 years difference in age. And I scrolled back and what? Two of the three original Goons shared a birthday. That was a wild coincidence, I thought. Toby, my own version of KFC, call it Angry Fried Aussies. That makes me sound like a cannibal, but anyway. Yes, Clee. I thought, what? Oh, Ting Tong Piddly Ipo. Yes, the Goons. Yes, so you known me for over a decade. It's wild. Hey, Stella. So, of course, when I found that out, I spent a bit of time listening to some old Goons recordings because they're weird as fuck. Like, for stuff that's like 50 years old, they surreal is a term often used with them. Very much absurdist. A lot of the jokes were non sequiturs. I mean, just examples as one. It's just, starting as like a radio play, and there was this really discordant noise, like someone hitting a piano with a hammer, and it goes bong bong bong, and the guy that microphone goes, "Oh, they don't write tunes like that anymore." And there was a live audience, and they just kind of cracked up. Toby, no word from Aidsy. He wanted to join me last night, but of course I didn't do a live stream last night. It was a TV watching night, so I watched a couple episodes of The Mandalorian with Mrs. Angry. I have messaged him tonight, and I have no idea if he's in a state to respond to those messages. Charlie, when you were a top, play school had in the ning nang nong. I mean, one of my Goons jokes came so fast, and like I said, they'd be plays on words or weird non sequiturs. One of my favorite jokes because it was just so silly. the character's going somewhere, and one of them says, "Take my hand," and the other one goes, "Why? Are you a stranger in paradise?" Because that's like a line from a song, "Take my hand, I'm a stranger." And it's like, you look at it and go, in and of itself, it's not funny, but the absurdity of it, I just love it. Okay, laugh at your expense, Lumi. You maced yourself while putting mace spice in a spice jar. Oh, wow. Yeah, no. Oh, Jesus. If we're going to swap dysfunctional stories of just fucking messing yourself up with stuff, I got a heap of them. Toby, AZ is in hospital, so his health's not great, but someone's looking after him, which is good. Megalich Red Dark Emu. Was it as eye-opening to you as it was to me? Like, that book should just be subtitled. For Australians, everything you were taught in school about Aboriginal history is a lie. A huge, big fucking lie. Thank you, Musical AFR, for the filling in. Stranger in Paradise song from a classical ballet suite, Polovsidian Dances by a Russian composer, Borodin. Nice. Salumi, you got your spices all neat and tidy. Mine aren't. They're all chucked in. Toby, yes. AZ still has a boyfriend who's looking out for him at the moment, which is nice, although he's not allowed to have visitors. Although I think his boyfriend can drop stuff off to him because, like, he had to be taken to hospital in an ambulance and he didn't pack a bag or anything like that. He was having phone troubles. I got to almost knock my drink over. It's not even alcohol. And you ever do that? It's always the most embarrassing thing when you're out drinking. And I don't know, your eye-hand coordination is just a bit off and you misjudge how far your hand has to go to pick up your glass, and you go in with too much force and just knock the glass over. Either that or your fingers don't around, you hit the glass. What I just did then was hitting the glass with my fingers. But anyway. That is true, Megaleech. I had mentioned the key points of Dark Emu, but it is a fascinating read. Just the way Bruce Pascoe went back to prime sources, the actual journal entries of the first colonizers. And what was hilarious is they really didn't even realize what they were writing. But they were describing the agriculture and aquaculture of Indigenous Australians while not understanding it was agriculture. They just talked about everything looked like a manicured park, these beautiful things. And it only took like one generation for the introduced cattle to fuck everything up with their cloven hooves. One of the many things... God, if I had a time machine, besides the whole baby Hitler thing, I would really like to go back in time and stop critical environmental fuck-ups that people did. Not because they were evil, because they didn't really have an understanding of ecosystems and the horrific damage they were doing, like introducing sheep and cattle to Australia. Like, nah, dude, get here. There's food here because there's people here. Use the food that's here. Don't introduce rabbits and foxes, you dense motherfuckers. And cane toads, that's a much later one. Oh my God, now I've got the hiccups. Oh my God, who's fallen in the water? Is that a Ludo misadventure? Well, Fletcher, obviously you can't change them, but because time travel doesn't exist. But go back to pivotal things where people made critical, catastrophic environmental mistakes and stop them. I've got a time machine, man. I just fucking appear with a flash and a bang and tell them I'm God, and don't fucking do that or I'll fucking smite you. See, we let horses run around the highlands because, Banjo Patterson wrote a poem. Yeah. Oh, those fuckwits who have an emotional attachment to those feral horses. Fuck, I hate them. Yes. Same as when someone announces a plan to try and cull feral cats because they're murder machines that are absolutely destroying native species, and it's probably going to fail. There's too many of them, and they're too vicious and too cunning. But someone mentions a plan to try and cull feral cats, and stupid fucking emotional fuckwits go, "Don't kill the kitties." Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, just go back in time and do some hand of God stuff. Like, no, don't introduce cats to this country. Don't introduce dogs to this country. Don't introduce cattle to this country. Even some absolute clown brought some really invasive bird species to America because he wanted every species of bird that's mentioned in Shakespeare to be there. Fuckwit. Who wrote Magic Pudding? Was it C.J. Dennis? Norman Lindsay, that's right. Megaleech. Between painting pornography, Norman Lindsay wrote a children's book. Read into that what you will. So maybe your cat can't even kill a moth. Indoor for a reason. You wouldn't survive in the outdoors place. I remember, God, probably in primary school, I guess, little traveling puppet show of the Magic Pudding would tour all the schools. I thought it was so cool. Yes, Fletcher, sparrows to Australia, pigeons, all these fucking things. Just like being able to go back in time and say, hey, you know what? Don't bring this shit. There are already people living there, and you should negotiate a treaty with them. I mean, you'd have to beat the colonizer mentality out of them. Ooh, that's Aidsy. What's he doing? What is he doing? All right, he reckons he's up for it. We shall see if he makes it. Toby, no, my cats are pretty useless as well. I have the hilarious thing because there's a lot of birds in this neighborhood. The introduced Indian minor birds are everywhere. We also have a few native species, wattle birds and magpies, rainbow lorikeets. I think there's also these sort of dove-type birds. I think they're introduced as well. But I occasionally see Mimsy, who is so too old to hunt. Occasionally, like, look at birds in the yard and go into a crouch like she's going to stalk them, but never move out of the crouch because that would be too hard. And the birds just go, yeah, fucking whatever. But I once saw Mimsy hold this crouch like she was going to pounce for like 30 minutes. This is a bit sad. Ooh, Charlie had a grey heron in the backyard. Nice. What's the most exotic bird? That weird pseudo owl. Tawny frogmouth. Fuck, they're cool birds. Yes, Siama, quote the famous Eccles. Hello. Tawny frogmouths are such cool birds. And not that far from my place a couple of years ago, this walk alongside, storm drain, basically, because there used to be a river there, which they built over, but they realized there had to be a way for the water, so it's a storm drain now, which floods occasionally. Anyway, there were trees all along this, and some tawny frogmouths made a nest. I think there's a video of it on my YouTube channel. Good point, Fletcher. You're more likely to see wildlife now with less cars about. So I am just going to. I want to know if I Okay, I thought that was just searching my channel. Why do they make that so hard? Yes. Okay. Plus, they do this funny thing where they pretend they're a branch. Yeah, there are actual chicks in this one. Stella, the mopoke is a different bird, I believe, although I am not an expert, so I'm not sure. Here, I'll see if I can show you a bit of video or if it'll make my stream seize up. Go to my Chrome tab for my So yeah, that's the on the right is the tawny frogmouth adult, and the left little fluffy thing is a chick. Not sure. Look at me being arty with my long bloody zoom out and then go down low. Yeah, see? I'm fucking artistic. I am. There we go. So there, the head on the left is the adult, and there's the little fluffy baby. I was so excited to find this. And I'm not disturbing them because the branch is actually quite high up. But I just think tawny frogmouths are the coolest birds. Yawned, they have these huge mouths. The little one's stretching. They're so cute. So, yeah, I just reckon tawny frogmouths are really cute. You look, the adults sheltering the baby and the baby's going in for a snuggle. It's so cute. So cute. And there's two babies. See, there's another baby on the other side. And the baby does a shit. There you go. That's all good. That's all good, baby. You're allowed to do a shit. Oh, now it's looking straight at me. No, it's not bothered. Because although, yeah, there's a nice close-up because my camera does good zoom, the branch is actually quite high. So if I do another of my artistic zoom outs, you'll see he was actually a long way away from me. But it was just over the walking, it's directly over the walking path. So it's not that bothered by humans. Anywho, I'll stop. I have no idea how well that video transmitted to you all, but I don't know if I just made the stream seize up or anything like that. Oh, there you go. They were incorrectly called mopokes in the old days. Proper mopoke is a boobook, a babadook. I've seen the movie about them. They haunt you. I remember one time in Sydney, because we'd get commuter trains would come down from the mountains into Central Station, not just suburban trains. They'd come from all the way up in the mountains. And one time a tawny frogmouth came in on one of these, and it must have been in the carriage, and it got off at Central Station. It was on the platform, and tawny frogmouths do this incredibly impressive camouflage thing where they stretch themselves out and they for real look like a dead branch on a tree. They're very hard to spot when they do that. But this tawny frogmouth kind of freaked out on the platform because it's all I can imagine is it got off the train and then there was light and people everywhere, and it tried to camouflage itself. So on the platform, it's doing its thing with its eyes closed and stretch out. I'm a branch, and people were walking around it and sort of going, and this was a long time ago before mobile phones had cameras in them, and so no one was taking pictures, but everyone was leaving it alone, which was like, but I just found it so funny. It was like it's standing there stuck still going, I'm a branch, fuck off and leave me alone, I'm a branch. But I assume at a certain point it probably went, fuck it, I'm making a run for it, and flew. It's a bird, it can fly, but it was a long way from home, so I don't know what that would do. But yeah, there's a few Australian animals that are extremely good at holding very still for a very long time. Saltwater crocodiles are incredible. If they're like in the sun or the warming, they'll even do this thing with their mouth open. They won't move for hours on end. It's just like they're just in some state of suspended animation. Goannas, monitor lizards, they can do it too when they're stalking prey, because they have reasonably good camouflage and they want to slowly get closer. They can hold very still for a very long time, which is an impressive skill to have if you are camouflage for a predator is good. Camouflage for prey is good as well. Yes, Stella, a crocodile will stay very still until a tourist comes along and then chomp. God, I remember one of the cases of a dude getting killed by a crocodile. This was a long time ago, but he was like a local, and it was like a park, a picnic ground, and there was a estuary, like a creek down below. And there was a guy in waders fishing. He was standing in the middle of this creek, like waist deep, and the water was quite clear. And a crocodile got him. And these tourists, American tourists, got interviewed afterwards about it, and they said, "Well, we could see the crocodile moving towards him because the water was quite clear, and we shouted to him, and we go, hey, hey." And he just waved at us, and we went, oh, he's a local. He knows what he's doing. Turns out, no, he didn't. And so these tourists actually witnessed this guy get fucking killed by a crocodile. Pretty full on. Chance, a goanna is a native Australian lizard. They can grow extremely large, like 2 to 3 meters from snout to tip of tail. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool lizards. I like them. But yeah, there's a whole genus of lizards called monitors, and some of them are this big, and some of them are really fucking big. They're like not as big and scary as a Komodo dragon, for instance. Their cousin from Indonesia, our neighbor to the north. But goannas can get pretty far gone big, and apparently, again, according to First Nations folk, pretty good eating. I think for a lot of people, goanna was regarded as a delicacy because they're pretty freaking big and there's a lot of meat on them. So, but yeah, goannas are cool. I like our lizards. I mean, shinglebacks aren't going to win any beauty contests, but blue tongues are so cool. They have these really smooth scales and a blue tongue, which is why we call them that. Stella, bungaras are grumpy fuckers. We do actually get lizards with attitude in Australia. All right. Bungaras are a species of goanna. There are lots of species of goanna. They vary in size, but broadly they're all pretty big. And part of their mating thing is they will fight. You can probably find videos on YouTube of goannas fighting because as part of their mating, the males will compete for a female and they will have a pretty full-on fight. And imagine for a moment going into your backyard and two 2+ meter long lizards are really fucking angrily fighting. And they make noise when they're doing it too. Unsettling is what I'd call it. Unsettling. Not saying I'd shit myself. Not saying I wouldn't. But yeah. People, like when I went to college, some of my friends there were from the tropics, like North Queensland and whatnot. And lizards and snakes and frogs and bugs and every sort of fucking creepy crawly was just a normal part of their day. And it's just like you're cohabiting with them. It's not like you haven't dominated the landscape. You're cohabiting with them. I mean, you'd watch from behind a screen door with a beer. There's a funny thing to me. When I holidayed in Darwin years ago, it was a nice place for a holiday, the Northern Territory generally. We stayed at like a backpack, had a pool, it was nice, and we went around Darwin and we'd go on day trips. And after I'd been there for a couple of days, I don't know, maybe even a week, as I was sort of going towards where the shops were in Darwin, into the city part of it, because we weren't far away from it. I saw this lizard. It was a dragon. It was a bearded dragon, just hanging. So it was about from head to tail, it was about this big. Cool little lizard, and I thought, oh, it's just hanging out. It's just hanging out. Look at it. It's just hanging out. And it was almost like the scales had fallen from my eyes because they were fucking everywhere. And I just hadn't noticed them because they're actually pretty good at camouflage. But it was like having seen one that and stopped and looked at it and going, that had then registered in my brain, that shape is a lizard. And then I saw them everywhere. And I thought, oh, they were obviously here the whole time, but I just hadn't noticed them because I wasn't looking for them, and they blend in quite well. But they were everywhere. The dragons, geckos are everywhere. It's the tropics, man. There's creatures everywhere. So one of the TAs up in the Pilbara caught a bunga. FMG wouldn't let him cook it up on the camp. Oh no, everyone was pissed off. Finished up eating it anyway. Oh no. So everyone in the camp wanted to, but yeah, Salumi, they were like ninjas, but they're just, again, we're saying they're good at staying still. And if they don't want to be seen, they're probably not going to be seen. The other fun thing at night, because it's tropical, there's lots of bugs when you're out at night, and because it's very warm and humid, so we'd stay by the pool all night, and then the lights were on. And lights attract bugs at night. So all the bugs are coming to lights. Bugs attract geckos. There would just be like dozens of geckos coming to the light just to have a bug feast. And I'd be like, geckos are super cute. Yeah, geckos are really cute. But they were everywhere because the bugs were everywhere. So the geckos would just like come out in force to eat the bugs. So, yes, if you go to the tropics, beasties everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Yeah, it's we were there right at the end of dry season. Cheapest time to go there because the touristy time is wet season. Just after wet season, because then Kakadoo's flooded and it's huge and there's wildlife everywhere and it's all very spectacular. We went on this little boat cruise. It's the end of the dry season, and the guy in the boat saying like the waterways have shrunk about 90% from just after wet season. So it doesn't look as spectacular. But he said, good thing is, because the waterways have shrunk 90%, the wildlife that's around is more concentrated. So you're likely to see more of the wildlife because they're in a more compact area. Oh no, Hellion, hello from Box Hell. Kirsten, I do not envy you. The last time I moved was about 3 years ago, and that was after being in the same place for 10 years, and it was the worst fucking experience of my life. It was a living hell that took like more than a week to resolve. It fucking sucked. Hey, Safa, good evening. Oh, nice. Silly ever gecko that hangs out near your driveway. I've not... trying to think of who's really seen lizards around here. Wildlife we get is possums. Brushtail and ringtail possums. And the birds, lots of birds. It's even like in the morning meetings sometimes, because working from home, have a morning meeting with the team, 9 o'clock every morning. If the birds have decided they're still in full song, because they start just before dawn, and sometimes they're still going strong at 9. Sometimes it'll be like, because I've got the microphone on, someone came like, oh my God, who's calling from an aviary? And it's like, oh, no, that's me, the birds. And again, it's usually the Indian minor birds, sometimes the wattle birds, making all the noise. It's not an unpleasant noise. Actually, I've shot a couple of videos for my cocktail channel in my backyard. If you see them, the sounds of the wildlife are all around me. So we have a lot of bird life in this neighborhood, is what I'm saying. Selim, you've had a few owls. Nice. I like owls. Owls are cool. Like I said, we had the tawny frogmouth down the road. You get pygmy possums, a few lizards, crap ton of birds. Yeah, there will be lizards everywhere. Probably snakes too, and I just don't see them. I definitely don't see them. Safa, Xbox. I saw something about this. The Series S leaked today. $300 US dollars. Series 10 is $500. See, I don't buy new gaming platforms till at least like a year or two after they come out. Finally got like an PS4. I think it was like 2 years after it came out. Okay, we actually got a Switch pretty soon after they came out. We got a soft spot for Nintendo. My kids grew up with the Nintendo 64. Yeah, Safa, ask me if I give a fuck about Xbox saying an X isn't a 10. Ask me if I give a fuck about Microsoft and their branding. I always thought it was fun that some Xbox fanboys would get upset when you called the previous one the X-Bone, because it was XB1. It's an X-Bone. That's what it says on the packet. It's an X-Bone. And some of them were very easy to tweak with that. But yes, I'm not going to get an Xbox. I've never sort of got Xbox. And if a new PlayStation comes out, it'll probably be a couple years before I get it. There are so many, because I don't game very much. There's just here, the games we've bought here, there's like 10 games I could play that I'm interested in playing. Yeah, I'm just not that into gaming at the moment. And even, some of the ones have played, I have some interest in playing again. Things like, Grand Theft Auto and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Even Mafia 3, actually, I quite enjoyed that. And there's a thing where you're taking over territory and you have 3 sub-bosses and you delegate when you take over a new territory to one of them. And you basically get warned. It might cause friction between the bosses depending how you split it up. So I was incredibly judiciously fair and gave them equal amounts of territory. Each new territory, I just split it between each one. I'm kind of tempted to see what actually happens if I just say fuck you and give all the territory to one of them. Do I actually get an insurrection there? But yeah, that was a couple of years ago, I suppose. So for the Mario collection, pulled at the end of March. Yeah, I'm just not playing that much games. I've been playing some older ones on PC, playing some of the Far Cry games. And because in a bundle I got Far Cry 3. Like I was playing Far Cry 5 and the sequel to it, New Dawn. And I enjoyed those. And I'd heard that, fans of the series really like Far Cry 3, and that was in this bundle. And I started to play this, and it was playing silly buggers with the saves, and it annoyed me, and I stopped playing it, and I haven't gone back to it yet. But I might, because I like shooters, first person, not like Quake and Doom type ones, where it's just constant sort of run and gun shit. Sort of open world ones where you can slowly explore things rather than, it's just constant run and gun. I used to like those. Found out a couple of years ago, like I bought the version of Doom that was done for PlayStation 3 or 4. It's 4, isn't it? PlayStation 4. I never had a 3. And yep, I did not like it. I had Wolfenstein and Doom and did not like it because it's just a Oh yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 could be good. That's true. So you like the Final Fantasy ones. My offspring like the Final Fantasy games. So I've got a recent Final Fantasy one for the PlayStation. Death Stranding. Geez, that really divided people. But yeah. Austin, you wouldn't know if there any idea on the second part of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ooh. You're going to wait for at least 2 parts before playing it. Oh, Charlie, I love Breath of the Wild. It's fucking great. I'd love to play it again, actually. First Zelda game I played was on the Nintendo 64. Here's AZ saying, the link's not working. No, dude, you just... Apparently he does not have a good internet connection. We shall see. We shall see if we see him. Yep. So yeah, we played Ocarina of Time, like the classic, and I'm quite a fan of Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64 as well. Yeah, I mean, I'd be fully on board with a fucking Switch remake of Ocarina of Time, make it a bit more open worldy. Chance, you played the original Zelda on the original Nintendo? Yeah, see, I had Nintendo 64 was the first one I had. Yeah, Safa, Zelda's 35 next year. Ooh. Charlie, your first Zelda was Oracle of Seasons. I haven't played that one. In fact, Breath of the Wild was the first Zelda I'd played in quite a while. Even though my offspring got a couple like Twilight Princess and whatever for the Wii. We had a couple for the Wii. I think there was a port of Wind Waker for the Wii. I think they had that. Ooh, Charlie, that was a Game Boy Color one. Nice. Gleef, he's in St. Vincent's very late. He's actually moved. I think it's to a hospital in Kew, he was saying. I'm not sure where he is. Austin, you had an N64, but no Zelda. Lived rural as a kid. Yep, that'll do it. Silumi, Call of Cthulhu is great, but you're stuck in the psych ward. Seems fitting. I remember I used to do role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons when I was at uni, and someone did have a Lovecraft role-playing game, Call of Cthulhu, role-playing game, tabletop role-playing, and the central thing is that, like, you know, the nameless, unspeakable horrors are coming out and killing people, and you have to deal with stuff. But there was often a twist, like if you killed one of the unspeakable horrors, it had possessed a human. So when you killed it, the unspeakable horror bit went away, and there was just a dead human body there. And as a twist, you had to convince people you hadn't just killed a person. Going, no, it was an unspeakable horror, honestly, which was a fun little twist to be able to deal with the monsters and not get in trouble for killing people when you did it. So let me was bad at sneaking in games. You can scare people in real life by walking quietly, but not in video games. Glee, I'm not sure for St. George's. If we get him, I'll ask. Oh no, Charlie. Ludo's barking at his reflection. You have to cover the mirror. Oh no. Okay, so yes, you've heard of the Call of Cthulhu tabletop game, yes. Annette, getting drunk. That's we're allowed to in these dark times. What's the time? 8:48. Yeah, probably the other sort of tabletop role-playing game that I really enjoyed was the dystopian sci-fi one, Paranoia. Oh my God, that was fun because you could be so silly with it. Annette, you're a fan of The Godfather. Yes, it is actually a pretty good drink. Basically, if you want variety, just change the liqueur in it. So you're making The Godfather with Mac, if I remember correctly. Try doing the same, but with your other liqueurs. Like I reckon an old-fashioned goes really well with fruit liqueurs as well. Ooh, Salumi, you're doing a Kickstarter for the Umbrella Academy game. That would be interesting. Austin, 6 a.m. Well, at least you got some chill chat, man. As we do, we just because I don't know about you, but there's a very strict lockdown where I live. There's a curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. I'm not allowed to go out. I'm not supposed to go more than 5 kilometers from my house during the day. Must have a very good reason, and I don't. I'm working from home. Have been for fucking 5 months now. I love it, actually. I'm fucking great. I think the people it's hardest on are people who are actually living completely alone, people with younger kids, or probably worst of all, people who are in a hostile home situation. but I'm happy in my home. You're in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, you've actually got a few issues with outbreaks in Texas, I understand. Yes, Arthur. Curfew moves to 9 p.m. Rock and roll. Ooh, Annette, you've done it with a marionette amaretto. Nice. Nice. I got to chill out on both. Okay. Booze tasting time. I got a new booze today. Gotta taste it on camera. I held off tasting it till you people were here. Get my rocks glass with my clear eyes. Right. So this took a couple of weeks to get to me. Because it's through the Dan Murphy site. There's Aidsy waving at me. It's Aidsy.
Hello, it's me.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
I'm just explaining something.
Because none of you will notice. Because no one here noticed. There's maybe 50 people who work here and 3 people noticed.
What, that you shave?
These people though. And who knew they all had partners and wouldn't root me.
Oh, damn.
And the most miserable mole ever. I've got a story to tell you too.
Okay, I'm just explaining one thing, but then you have a whole bunch of things to explain.
I do, actually.
So, like where you are, what's happening?
You said this took 2 weeks to get to. So
yes. So, yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I bought a bunch of what I call fuck it purchases on Dan Murphy's. Now, I wasn't going to buy any more booze because I have a lot. And and then I was just looking at...
I'm not going to buy any more drugs, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then I just looked on the Dan Murphy's thing, and there was a couple things on special, and I just went, yeah, fuck it, I'm getting that. And the ones that were actually from Dan Murphy's came more or less straight away within a week. But I ordered 2 that were advertised on the Dan Murphy site but come from an independent. And this one's just arrived. The other one still hasn't arrived. The other one's a white rum because I didn't have any white rum. But this is kind of sorta rum. They're calling it cane spirit. So this is unaged. This is basically unaged spiced white rum.
So it's moonshine with bits in it.
It's 45%. It's borderline moonshine. Yeah. But this is infused with Colombian cacao and cinnamon, which makes it sound like it would be a good dessert drink, like mix it with a creamy one. But I haven't even tasted it. And I don't see how to get this seal off, so I need a knife. So I'm going to give some tasting notes. And then, young fella, me lad, want to hear all about what's happening to you. You know, you're looking good, I'm just going to say.
Man.
Throwing it out there.
Thank
I mean
you.
that in a strictly sexual way. No, I know you're not, but you're looking pretty good. Okay.
Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you.
Ooh, nice.
This
cool.
way.
Okay.
That's better.
Oh my
Because
God,
I'm
it smells
trying to
good.
sit straight. But if I do that, oh no, now it looks like I'm looking at you.
Whoa.
That's good. No, that's good because now I can look like I'm adoringly looking at you. I've got my glasses on because we'll be filling out my menu card together.
Oh, cool.
All of us.
Well, I'm going with it smells really good. Going to put a bit on the rocks. That's probably, I better like it because I just poured myself out a decent measure. But yes, by the way, it is Australian. It's from a distillery called 100 Souls. And they do a few different flavored ones. I like the sound of this flavor best. Colombian cacao and cinnamon. But I'm going to have a little taste and then decide what it maybe would go with best. My super clear ice. Look, there's ice in there. I'm so proud of my. The glass is still frosty, which is ruining the effect a bit. But my ice is completely fucking invisible, which I'm quite happy with. Oh, that's not been aged.
Fire in it.
That's if on a cold winter's night at the lighthouse, after your third month alone in the White House. This is going to warm your soul as the rain beats against the windows.
Hey, I learnt a thing about lighthouse keepers and people who used to make gunpowder
Yeah.
who used to make explosives for Nobel. They used to have stools to sit on that
Yes.
had one leg or two legs. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
No, it was one leg. And basically, if you fell asleep while you were
You'd
doing
fall
it,
over.
you'd
Yeah.
fall over.
Yeah.
So you had to
So
constantly
it was
balance yourself.
slightly comfortable, but it stopped you from falling asleep.
Yeah,
That is pretty neat.
it's pretty clever because while
That is
you're
pretty
mixing up
neat.
explosives and while you're doing a lighthouse, you don't want to fall asleep.
Yeah. That
Please
is
continue.
someone mixing explosives. You got to be real used to your job if you're not off while mixing explosives.
Yes.
You get a bit too casual after you've done it for a few years.
Well, because what was happening was the shifts were 12 hours, and Nobel was finding that the explosives were going off at different rates, and that was not what you wanted when you're doing mining explosives and also, military
Yeah.
explosives. And he found out that the guys were nodding off and mixing more stuff or less stuff, and then waking up again and going, "Oh, that's empty. I must have finished 2 batches," and all of a sudden houses would blow up.
Yeah, you don't really want to
you've
live
got
next
a
to
white spirit
munitions.
which has got razor blades in it and fire.
It's got a good flavor. I think just those flavors, cinnamon and cacao. I think if I put it with something creamy like Advocaat, it'd make a real. In fact, I'm going to make one. I reckon it'd make a good dessert drink. On itself, like I said, it's really if it's a cold, bleak night and you're chilled to your bone and you just want to feel something, drink some of this.
Okay.
So I was just going to say, Austin is jealous of my ice. Now the glass has stopped frosting. You can see my ice is basically invisible. But there's a really big thing. And the trick is directional freezing for anyone. This is just, one of those insulated coffee take with you coffee cups. And because the reason ice is cloudy when you make it is water has impurities in it. And the ice freezes from all directions at once, and the impurities air bubbles and other impurities get suspended in the middle of the ice. So you get that cloudiness. With directional freezing, this is insulated. It doesn't freeze from the sides, freezes from the top down, pushes all the bubbles and the impurities down, and only the last bit of ice has impurities in it. And then you get the ice out, and this bit of it is completely clear. This bit's all cloudy. You just cut that off. Get a like a bread knife and cut the end off, and you've got this beautiful clear ice, which is in there. What I love is you can't actually tell the ice. That is mostly ice. There's actually only a very little bit of drink in there.
You could also, I suppose, make different shapes, couldn't you?
You absolutely could. There are some real fun videos. If you're bored as fuck on YouTube and want some projects, there are a few videos where people teach you how to make a mold and make your own directional freezing mold. Like they do silicon molds and shit.
Do you know what you'd want? Seriously, do you know what you want? You'd want someone with a metal 3D printer, and what you'd do is you'd make the shapes so that the bottom half and the top half simply came apart. So you wouldn't have to be pushed. Make a sphere with the top of the sphere open.
Yeah.
And then you put the sphere in the freezer.
Yeah.
Pushes all the impurities down the bottom. Yeah. Like you were saying, insulated. Because with the 3D printer you can do that. And then you make it so that the sphere just simply sits joint-wise into the bottom half, and then you pop it off, and you drop the ball of ice out, cut the end off, and you've got a perfect ball of ice.
Yeah.
And you look like one of those pro barmen.
Yeah.
Who've
Yeah. There is like I said, there a 3D printer is a brilliant fucking idea, actually. There are videos of, like, household hacker types on YouTube who go to this enormous trouble with mixing up some silicon and, like, using a Christmas decoration as the sphere and making a silicon mold around it, and which is pretty neat. But it's like, if you've got a lot of time on your hands and want to do a project like that, there are instructional videos. A 3D printer sounds like a great idea, honestly. But it's basically, because you just have to have a reservoir under your shape, and it will freeze from the top down and push down to the reservoir. What was I thinking?
How many people are going to make a cock and balls? Seriously.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, cock and ball ice. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the cock's going to sit over the drink.
Yeah. The balls would sit on the bottom and the cock sticking up out of the drink. Yeah.
And you give that to the ladies. Here you go, darling. Get into that.
Get that
I'm not
into
a pig.
Yeah. Austin is now into the idea. Two tips. It takes a long time because of the insulation. It takes a day or two to actually freeze. The best is to leave it until you can actually see the bubbles at the bottom. It doesn't have to freeze all the way down. It doesn't matter if there's still water at the bottom, but you let it freeze until you can see basically there are some impurities, and then you can take it out. This is metal and is completely inflexible, and so I can't squeeze the ice out. It has to melt a bit, and it's a real pain in, like, that can take an hour or more before I can get the ice out once it's out of the freezer. I'm looking, this is, again, I can fucking hardly go anywhere to shops at the moment. Ideally, to get a good insulated, flexible plastic or rubber or, silicon one, and it would be much easier to get the ice out of. This one I have to let melt for an hour or more till I can get the ice out, because it's completely inflexible. But it's fun. Yeah. So
totally. And it would look so cool for guests.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just like, can you see the ice? I know. I'll drink a bit more.
Actually.
The ice is sticking up over the top. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can see but with the drink, it's completely invisible. So.
And what you've done there is you've cut a few ice cylinders.
Yeah,
out.
Basically, I got a bit that was about this big and cut it in half.
Right.
Yeah. So, because it's a more usable size that way.
So if it fits in your freezer,
yes,
it's as big as you can make it.
Yeah. The first ones I saw were people showing you how to do it at home. They would say, get a little esky, just a little esky, and rip the lid off it, fill that up with water and put it in your freezer, and you get a big fuck off cube of ice that you can then cut up into different shapes and whatnot.
Also, too, with a cube of ice, you could get a bathtub and maybe, say, make 3 of them.
Yeah.
Say you got a deep freeze, you make 3 of them, and your backyard party, you dump the cubes of ice into the bath.
Yeah.
Fill them up with water, and then you throw the beer and the wine in that.
Yeah.
And people reaching in for the beer go, that's very cold, but I see no ice.
Yeah, no, that would look very cool. Yes.
And,
yes.
I'm just seeing like 100 different ways you could use it. Sexually. You know, putting little chocolate buttons of ice on your lover. And little chocolate buttons of chocolate that are warmed on your lover at the same time would make for an interesting. Imagine 50 Shades of Grey, and then go directly opposite to that.
Yeah,
you know, sex is fun, and then when it starts to melt, you lick it all off. Just a tip.
I mean, you can
that thing where they have women and sushi on them.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and you see in the movies they pick it off with chopsticks.
Yes.
That's not how it's done. How it's done is the gentlemen around eat it like bobbing for apples, and the guest of honor gets the
The
guest
choice.
of honor pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Annette wants to know if you suddenly have more hair. She thinks you look like you have more hair.
more hair.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't had a haircut for 2 months. I've been in hospital for how long now?
It's a couple of weeks, isn't it? I don't know. I've lost track.
More.
Time
It's
doesn't
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. So
And
which one
I
are
thought I
you
was
in
going
now?
home next week.
Yeah.
No.
Nah.
I did a cognitive test.
Yeah.
So I was gonna fuck around with it. It's out of
Yeah.
100. I got 33 and a half.
Wah, wah.
I was I'm having a lot of trouble remembering things. My short-term memory is shot, and
Yeah.
I'm having blackouts,
Uh,
which, by the way, is terrifying. You'd be doing something like walking along with someone, having a chat, and then, and then you'd be somewhere else, talking to someone else,
yeah.
and you'd be going, "Who the fuck are you, and where the fuck am I?"
Oh no.
And it's. Remember when we did that movie, and I did a perfect impression of being fine?
Yes.
I've been told
And you
that
didn't
every
remember
time I have a
doing it.
blackout,
Yeah.
I do a
Yeah.
perfect impression of being just fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no one
Absolutely.
knows. And
Yeah.
it's just me
Yeah.
going, sorry, you are not processing his memory.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've told some really good jokes while
Yeah.
being blacked out. That is
Yeah.
so typical
Yeah.
because I can't remember them and therefore can't record them.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've got some Australian cane.
Yes.
What is it? A cane?
They just call it a cane spirit because
Cane spirit.
it's basically unaged rum. And seriously,
It's just a tautology, isn't it? Because rum is unaged. When you make spirit,
yeah.
it doesn't even matter if it's whiskey or oh no, brandy's different. Anything that's a spirit is unaged. It doesn't get any better or worse than that. And then you put it in an oak barrel with different flavours in it, or a
Yeah.
pure oak barrel, and
Yeah.
then sometimes they put oak branches in when they do the whiskey in stainless steel vats, which are fucking enormous, which are your more commercial distilleries. They'll buy oak firewood and oak branches and just throw them in the vat and leave it there for however many years, and then tap it off into bottles, untouched by human hands. And then, but when they're doing traditional distilleries, they the stuff comes out clear as the water,
It's barrel color.
It's barreled, but moonshine and unaged spirit just means that it came straight out of
It hasn't been aged in a barrel. Like I was just looking it up. Most places require rum to have been aged for a year, like in a barrel, to call it rum. I think in America, bourbon has to be aged for at least a year to be called bourbon, and Scotch whiskey has to be aged at least 3 years.
3 years
to be called Scotch whiskey. So this is rum because its based is cane syrup and molasses. It says it on the bottle. It's cane syrup and molasses. But the fact they're calling it cane spirit and not rum means this has just come straight off a still.
Straight off the line.
And by jings, it's got the bite that suggests, because there's another thing, aging it in wood often mellows the taste. I mean, I've got over there, I've got a What have I got here? I've got aged rums. I've got a 12-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and my overproof one. How long has this been aged? It's probably been aged less. I don't know. It doesn't have an age statement on it, which means probably the minimum. If they don't bother putting an age statement on it, it's probably the year minimum. So there's a spectrum of the rums over there, and this is now at one extreme end of the spectrum.
So what's the other thing you've ordered?
It is actually a white rum. I think it's a 3-year aged white rum. And the thing, white rums tend not to be aged that long because it's in a charred barrel. That's where they get their color. So it's like if you're wanting to have it as a white rum, it's going to be in a new barrel, not an old barrel. And
if you go to the south of America,
yeah,
and you go into a fairly top-end bar,
yeah,
not super high, but a fairly, a non-bar fight bar, and you see the top shelf. Sometimes you'll see an elegant bottle, a beautiful bottle, and it's got no label on it, and all you'll see is a embossed white lightning symbol on it. And what that is the local moonshine. And you can come in and ask for a double of white lightning, please.
Yeah.
And they will sell it to you. And if the police come in, they ignore the fact that some of these bottles are unlabelled and have a white lightning streak on them. Because everybody knows that the local white lightning seller is very, very good. Well, they don't get to sell it in top class bars. And there was a guy called Popcorn, and he would make white lightning, and he wouldn't temper it. He'd get someone else to temper it for him, and he would make barrels of the stuff, and the semi-trailer would pull up, and he'd put these barrels in this semi-trailer, and the semi-trailer would pull away, and the cops would pull up the semi-trailer, search it thoroughly, and find nothing. No one to this day has found the secret of how he smuggled something like nearly 1,000 it was nearly 1,000 litres of white lightning per go, and he used to make something like 10 cubes. So like 1,000 litres is a cubic metre of liquid, and I defy anyone to get through 1,000 litres of high-end alcohol in 5 years. You'd really have to have problems. So he would make 10 of these. Trucks would pull up. He would hide them. No one would find them. And the bars around the place would have already put in their order and would get quotas, and they couldn't get any more than what was available. And he would only do one run every this is the most amazing part. He would only do one run every 5 to 6 weeks. So that's 10,000 litres of white lightning being consumed to empty before 6 weeks is up. So you can imagine how many people go in and say, I would like the local product, please. And this guy is like rich as hell, but he drives around this old Model A Ford truck, and his stuff is just ancient. And
Yeah.
he's just this old, crusty, southern redneck.
Yeah.
And he has literally a couple $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
And effectively the children are getting it. And they come out and help him. The video I saw on this guy, they weren't there. His grandchildren were there, but they weren't there because he didn't want them on camera.
Right.
Because the implication is that they're going to take on the family business.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you only want to get, visually famous toward the end of your career. They know all the tricks. So all the bars are happy that the product will continue.
Yeah.
You have mixed a drink.
I put some Advocaat, your egg cream liqueur, because I thought that, and put the White Lightning in here, and that because of the flavors, it'll make it a very desserty sort of drink.
What flavor is the vodka?
Oh, well, it's Advocaat, so it's like an egg cream liqueur. Eggs, cane sugar, brandy, and vanilla. So it's like a... this is a very 70s mixer, the Advocaat.
Yeah. Very nice.
But you can make very good...
I'll try and straighten up. I'm at a funny angle. This is my straight angle.
Yeah, do whatever you're comfortable with.
Let's see if I can organise this.
Oh, I also just want to say hello to John and Joanna in chat. I'm going to answer Joanna's question, and this might be of interest to you as well. I called this live stream Goons Day because when I was looking for did anything notable happen today, today is the birthday of both Peter Sellers and Harry Secombe, and I found that a really wild coincidence. I had no idea they shared a birthday. They're about 5 years difference in age, but same date. So two of the three original Goons shared a birthday, and I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No,
I knew that after 5 years or 7 years, Harry Secombe and come on, what's the other guy? Spike Milligan. Refused to do any kind of business with Peter Sellers at all. When they were doing the Goon show, they insisted on separate contracts. Absolutely insisted.
He's a very difficult man.
He was a very, very difficult guy. He was very John Lennon in his daily dealings with people, and the talent was just spectacular.
Yeah,
but his actual humanity was really fucked up.
But we know, with the benefit of hindsight, he would straight up be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder,
or sociopathy,
complex PTSD. He a lot of his behaviour was so clearly driven by mental health issues. But I was researching the Goons for this, and it's like Secombe and Milligan met during the war, and the story goes, and I don't know how true this is, because it like A, sounds like something they really would have done, and B, sounds like something they'd make up as well. Milligan was a gunner, and that's true. And apparently, in one of these things, they accidentally pushed an anti-aircraft gun off a cliff. And it went whoosh, and there was a camp down below, and Secombe was in a tent down below when this fucking ACAT gun crashes down next to him, and it was like, the fuck was that? And the story goes, Milligan poked his head into the tent and goes, "Have you seen a gun?" And Secombe responded straight away, "What color was it?"
Yes.
And they were friends
Yes.
from that point on. The fact
Absolutely. That is absolutely
could,
the answer.
Milligan could push a gun off a cliff
Sir,
and almost
thank
kill
you.
him. And they both
And
came
I'm
up
sorry
with
for being a shit before. I had no idea. What's wrong? What have I done? Oh, yeah.
I know.
let's
Was
do
he the
that.
guy who refused to be interviewed himself, wanted to go on someone else? I don't know. But
Let's do that. Oh, you don't know how awesome that feels.
So someone's looking after AD at the moment. Well,
It's Damien. He's fabulous.
oh, okay, cool.
This is my actual job. The stuff that I do with Jason
Talking to the
is
peeps.
just me trying to save my relationship. That's my boss. There. He's cool. That's him. And then we go over here, and these are the people that are watching us right now. And there's a few of them.
Yes.
And then I can see the chat, or I can see the video.
What's the chatting about?
Okay, so while they're watching us, they're talking to us, and they're talking to each other.
What are you talking about?
We are now talking about the Goons from the Goon Show, and how Spike Milligan and Harry Secombe met. Spike Milligan accidentally pushed an anti-aircraft gun off a cliff and hit a British camp down the bottom of the cliff, and went down and said to Harry Secombe's tent, opened it and said, "Have you seen a gun?" And Harry Secombe said, "What colour was it?" And apparently from that moment on, they were friends. Because the anti-aircraft gun is this size of a truck. You know, when that hits, you go, fuck. So that's just awesome. Oh, thanks, man.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day. Good sleep. See you, man.
Alrighty.
So,
actually, what establishment are you in at the moment? Because you moved recently.
I am in St George's Hospital,
St.
an
George's.
annex of St Vincent's. It's in St George's is in Kew. Letters are welcome. You just put St Vincent's Hospital, Adrian Career, St Vincent's Hospital. Melbourne. In fact, I've got an address card somewhere, but you can look it up. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, we do it.
And if you send me a letter with, you go Adrian Career, patient, in brackets underneath, it'll find me. And I've got a parcel coming from my mum that's 4 weeks late.
Oh, God.
I've got to chase that up tomorrow. My phone is on the blink, so I have a personal carer.
Nice.
How pretty am I? And we are trying to scam an NDIS membership from me, and it's more and more likely that I'm going to get it.
Nice.
Because more every day, I get more and more qualification points, which sucks. I had some terrifying experiences while I've been here.
Ooh.
It's really terrifying. I've been having these blackouts. I told you this.
Yeah, the blackouts, yeah.
I told you this.
Yeah.
And they're scary. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I researched heavily, and this is a warning as well as a story. I researched heavily because my boyfriend, boss of the house, was getting the shits with the drugs that I was on for pain killing and for anti-stress because they were changing my behaviour. And I think Angry was also getting the shits with the drugs that I was on because they were changing my behaviour. Some of them would make me a zombie, and some of them would make me look like an ice junkie. And some of them were just bad. There was one that's toxic, and I was huffing it in the house. And boss of the house was a bee's dick away from leaving me. In the morning when he left for work, he didn't talk to me, and I thought, I'm in shit here. And then when he came home, he read me the riot act for about half an hour. Understand the guy, a 10-hour conversation with the guy Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. That's 10 hours.
Yeah.
And he fucking went off. And I'm going, okay, I won't be doing that anymore. And we were finding cans of this stuff that I was huffing for like a month
Oh
after.
God.
They were just stashed around the house. Not because I'd hidden them, it's just because I dropped them. Because they would fuck you right up. It worked, but it wasn't good. And I'm not
Yeah.
telling you what it is. Anyway, I researched nitrous oxide. It's been known for 150 years. It's very well researched. It's been very well studied. There were papers on it. There was research on it. And I read so much. And I went, this could be it. It's non-addictive. It's actually non-toxic. Okay, sorry. All psychoactives are mildly toxic, okay? That's just the way life is. It was short-acting. So I'd take a Panadol or 2 or even 3, but really no more than that. And then take this nitrous oxide in to do the quick punch, and the Panadol would kick in and do the heavy lifting for the rest of the time. Perfect. What they don't tell you in the tiny little sticker on the back, which is not there, is that prolonged use of nitrous oxide will give you brain damage. And guess what? I got brain damage, and it manifested itself in strange behaviour. I would run away from my house in the middle of the night without keys.
Whoops.
And I had to knock on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning to wake up somebody in the flat to let me in. So I'm using my cane to rap on the door until someone let me in. And I was outside one night in the pouring rain and wind for an hour before someone decided I can't stand the knocking anymore. He let me in and yelled at me as I was struggling up the stairs, and I just, every time he yelled something, I went, that's totally fair enough, man. That's totally fair enough, man. This is utterly my fuck up, man. This is totally fair enough, man. Anyway, so there were complaints and there were promises back. And then the floor started to move like a ship. And I was rolling with it for a while. And then my balance just went completely. The last 5 days of this were a bit of a blur. And then boss of the house came home after being absent for 3 days, and I was on the floor for 4 days. And I couldn't move. And I had soiled myself, and I'd vomited pretty much happily in the tiled bathroom. So I was fucked, basically. The ambulance drivers have come in, and I'm at the stage up and about. And I'm not taking him into hospital. Hospitals are full. And then I nosedived into the fridge and basically flailed about, and they said, there'll be a hospital case then.
God damn.
And I have 66 stairs that I have to walk up to get to my house. And they said, we don't carry him down that. Can you walk down? And I didn't. I fell down the stairs 4 times.
Fuck.
And they were really debating getting a chair. I said, no, I can make it. And I got into hospital, and immediately, you know how you wait in hospital?
Yeah.
Straight in. And they gave me lots of drugs. And you have a GSR, a GRS, I think it's called. It's how alert you are.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
3 is dead. Or dead to the world.
Yeah, it's
2 and
comatose.
1 are basically vegetable. I had a GRS of 4, and it went from 4 to 6 to 4 to 6. And they were going, this guy's a bit fucked up. And they put me in hospital, and they said, what's going on? and what have you been on? And I told them everything. And they said, oh, it'll be the nitrous then. And they've had 3 cases this year here of people whose legs have been destroyed by nitrous. Unfortunately, my whole body has been affected. I can't write anymore, and I'm learning how to write again. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to speak again. I still can't remember words. So occasionally, if you hear me and angry talking, and I'm telling a joke and I can't remember the punchline, it's not that I can't remember the punchline. I can't form it in my head, and sometimes I can't find words that'll bring concepts together, and I can't bring concepts together to synthesize ideas. That sucks ass when you're trying to tell jokes for a living.
Oh, yeah.
So I had 25% brain damage when I came in. Nitrous oxide, kids. Fun for the occasional party.
Yes.
It's a sometimes food.
Sometimes.
Let me just repeat that. It's sometimes food. When you look for the dangers of nitrous oxide, you've actually got to look for, when you're searching, you've actually got to look for each symptom. It doesn't come up anywhere when you're looking for nitrous oxide. You've actually got to look at each danger, and then it'll tell you. And it's like, it's a little bit like that great movie with Cumberbatch in it about the magician. What's that called? Fisto.
Captain Fisto. What the fuck are you talking?
No, he's got to save the world, and he goes to Kathmandu. And
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. It's a bit like Doctor Strange.
Oh, your mic gets cut out.
Say again. What'd you say?
Okay. You sorry. There's some break in the thing. Couldn't hear you. But really quickly, while we are breaking, I just want to say, Mez, who came into the chat, was a regular at our YouTube meetups, saying that really want to do another one when all the lockdown's over. It's like, I bet everyone does. That's not going to be for months yet. Actual gatherings of people won't be a thing that happens for months, and even then, we'll have to work out the appropriate greeting, because we were all huggers and won't be able to do that. Be like, I don't know, finger guns is my chosen way to say hello to people. It's like, hey, how you doing?
I don't mind the elbow touch.
That's about as far as I can go. And Mez also asked what the drink was. She must have missed it. I got this delivered recently. It's they call it cane spirit, which means it's an unaged spiced white rum. It's a very interesting Colombian cacao and cinnamon infusion. Really not aged. It's moonshine. You take a hit of it. It's not terrible, but it's like, that's moonshine.
Moonshine. Right.
But I figured if I mixed it with a cream liqueur, it would just be nice and desserty. I did it with Advocaat, which was good. And I decided a second one. This is another special thing I got. This is a white chocolate Irish cream liqueur. So it's an Irish whiskey-based white chocolate cream liqueur. It's really good.
Can you keep some of that for me?
Yeah, it's a big bottle. I'm not going to drink much of it. They said what actually happened is I froze. From my perspective, you froze, but from the audience's perspective, I froze. The internet is a weird, weird thing.
It's a weird, weird thing. Whenever I get a lag, everyone else freezes and I don't. But I shut up because I know that while the lag is on, if I talk, it'll actually try and put the packets through in a hurry and go, so I just shut up until the lag unfreezes and go again. I was telling everyone about the dangers of nitrous oxide. So I came in with 25% brain damage, and they said if you work hard, you can improve that. So I write for 2 hours every night, and you'll find me in the morning often when breakfast comes around, like crashed out with a fountain pen, making big blotches of ink on either my sheets or on the paper. And I've been finding that my writing gets better for 3 days and then crashes, and then gets better for 3 days and then crashes. and then gets better. And then lately, just recently, I found it's not gotten better at all. That's frightening. So they've said the brain damage may or may not improve. And they redid it lately. And they said, oh, you're up to 23%. And I'm going, sweet, getting better. And then they came into me, and a lot of them came in and went, fuck. Because when a lot of doctors are looking at you, you're in trouble. Yeah. And I said, we want to talk about your brain. We did some more tests, and it looks like the 23% is here to stay. Shit. And your brain, rewires itself. If you really, really want to have a concept, it'll plasticize a new path to get to that concept. Remember the SAS motto, the body follows, where the brain leads, the body follows. You can do anything. I think the French Foreign Legion use it as well. You can do anything you want, as long as your brain is set up to say, I am going to do this. This is going to happen. And your body can hurt, it can complain. And trust me, my body's complained for 26 years. You've got a pain score from 1 to 10. My body's usually running between 7.5 and 9, which means 9 is a chainsaw's cutting off your leg. And I've learned to not show it. Angry's seen me in states where it's really taking over, and I've had to deal. I've heard names called poor man's heroin. What do you reckon? Is it? No. I'd say poor man's Valium. I'd say that. It's not actually poor either. While I was on the Nangs, it was actually very expensive.
If you do a lot of them, it is,
It's not a cheap thing. If you do enough of them to anaesthetize you. And I was doing enough that a typical dentist would use on a root canal, which is quite a bit. And it was costing me between $60 and $70 a day to support my nang habit. And on a pension, that's most of your pension. I was trying to lose weight. I was up to 135 kilos. And I wanted to get down to 90, which is my fighting weight, really. And in 2 months, I went from 135 kilos to 88 kilos. Boss of the house hadn't seen me, like I said, for 2 weeks, then a week, then 3 weeks. And then when he came back after the 3 weeks, he said, for fuck's sake, your tracksuit pants are falling off you. They don't actually hug your waist. The elastic is cinched so much it just falls off. Your underpants don't fit. Your pants have to be, they look ridiculous. They look like Charlie Chaplin pants. And I got an official weight in hospital, and I went, that's, how many kilos? 35 plus 10 plus 2 is 45 plus 2 is 49. Check my math.
No, I'm not doing math.
Anyway, it's something like 40 plus 45 plus kilos in 2 months. That's not weight loss. That's a crash. And what it was I was eating 3 times a week, and I was eating cereal because it's high fiber. So milk and sugar and cereal because it had just enough energy for you to go. And I was drinking 2 coffees a day with a lot of sugar in it. Lost a lot of weight dangerously. 47, says Stella.
Yeah, Mega Leach concurs. They did the maths. Those numbers you said add up to 47.
Fuck.
That would sound right. If you were up to 135 and crashed to under 90. That's right. That's 47. Yeah.
Fuck.
That was a third of your body weight, brother.
That's a third of my body weight in 2 minutes. That's not good.
No.
That's losing a lot of muscle tissue and a lot of bone density. I already have osteoporosis.
Yeah.
So, nangs. Fun for parties.
Yeah.
Don't do them a lot.
Yeah.
I'm, because of the relationship me and Angry have, I'm not going to lose my job, but I've got to become more useful, and I'm not getting out of rehab as soon as I thought I would, which is a pisser, because at the moment in Victorian hospitals, you're not allowed to have visitors. No one is allowed to come and see you. My personal carer, if he's delivering stuff to me or I'm delivering stuff to him, there's a delivery table. You put it on the delivery table and the other person comes and gets it later. One day, accidentally, my personal carer and me turned up at the front door at exactly the same time. It was like throwing a letter through a letterbox at 5 metres away. One in a million shot.
Yeah.
Totally unplanned. And the boss of the hospital came out, fucking gave it the yell and told the personal care, because we had a chat. And he stood 5 metres away from me. We wanted to make sure that we were doing all the signals of being safe. I had the mask on the whole bit. He had the mask on the whole bit. And he stood a long way away, and she said, "You leave now." And he said, "Of course." Turned around and bailed. He had no argument, nothing. He didn't want any conflict. And security came out, 4 of them.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I can't stand for more than a minute. 4 security guards come out while I'm grabbing my little 4-wheel walker. I've got to learn to walk on my walking stick again so I can get up my stairs at home. I fall over when I do that. So it's got to make me strong enough to walk on my walking stick. And it's going to be a journey. Anywho, these 4 security guards are fucking giving it to me. And I've gone, it was a coincidence. It was a coincidence. We didn't plan it. Boss of the hospital's totally pissed. Comes up to my ward and is telling the nurses to give me extra attention, which is not what I want. Because I managed to get this into the hospital. I brought 4 of them, and they immediately got locked away because somebody accidentally stuck the marijuana one in.
Right.
And I told them that one of them was the CBD, and they went, no, and locked everything away, and I'm not to have it. So I bought, out of my own money, a totally new machine, unsealed, it's like sealed, and a new bottle of nicotine, sealed, and showed them these sealed products. They can't have they cannot have marijuana in them. And I said, righto, we want to talk to the shop owner. Jesus. So I've rung up the shop owner and I've said, it's me. I need you to do me a solid. I need you to talk to the hospital. And you need to talk to them, not through me, but straight away, about what's in this stuff. And he said, yeah, I can do that. I'm happy to do that. And they basically ambushed him and fucking went him. And I was just going, no, this is not the go. And I got back on the phone and I said, dude, I didn't know they were going to ambush you, man. I'm so sorry. Then they said, we need something in writing from him. And he's exasperated, right? It's 9 o'clock at night. He's in the warehouse and he's gone, I told them there's only 3 fucking ingredients in any of these things. I told them what they were.
Yeah.
And so he's written them an email, and he said, "No more. I've got a business to run. I can't be doing this." And I said, "You've done more than I could have ever asked you already. So I'm sorry. You're my vape guy from now on." And of course, it's fucking COVID time. He's doing it rough like everyone else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to understand the hospitals are fairly tight. All of the staff wear masks all the time, which is not helping me remember their names. They'll tell me their names, and 5 minutes later I'll forget. Not cool. And then someone will come in and I'll say, "You are Peter." And they'll go, "I am Doug. I have looked after you for the last 3 nights." Yeah. So when we get together again, if I don't remember your name, please don't get offended. I have lost a lot of memories of my childhood. I have lost a lot of high-end physics. I have lost a lot of visual memory. I can no longer operate Blender, the 3D software, at all. My hands, the motor skills are so bad that when I pick things up, I drop them. So I'll pick up a cup of coffee and then go to drink it and then just drop it. My hands will just open and drop it. Or I'll pick something off the desk or the ground and it'll feel like I've got it, but I never actually gripped it. It's still there. And then I go to put it down and it's gone, like a magic trick. And I just never picked it up. Can AZ plug his supplier, please? I can. It's Herb Health and Vape. It's in High Street. Its logo is a tree. I'll get a proper card from the guy and.
Actually, let's see if I can find it. You said it was called Herb Health and Vape.
Yeah, well, look for vape suppliers in High Street, and just tell me the names, and I'll. It's High Street, Northcote, and I think it's only said Sol Blue, and they're no good because they won't give you the secret ingredient. But this guy will. You can either bring your own secret ingredient in, or organise to have the secret ingredient sent in.
Hemp Health and Vape.
Hemp Health and Vape. Brilliant guy. Brilliant service. If you've got a problem with your machine, you go back and the guy will dismantle it for you in front of you. You say, "I can't do the coil," he'll dismantle it for you in front of you and do it a few times and then watch you do it a few times so that you've got it. Shows you how to take care of your coils so they don't burn out in a month. Will take you through the ins and outs of putting nicotine in flavour. Has 195 flavours at this point, and is going to be adding 70 more soon. I go orange in something. I got orange brandy at the moment.
Okay.
Nice. And whatever you want, it's there. The cops on the same street at the end, the street where the cops are ends at his shop. They all come and get their vapes from him. Because as a copper and a nurse, by the way, when you smoke, you've got to change your clothes. You've got to go downstairs and smoke. Then you've got to come back upstairs and change your clothes, clean your teeth twice, and then go and hit the patients, which means you can only smoke at lunchtime and not have any food. It's a hassle. You can do it in your break, but you've got to move. Really move. And the cops have got the same rule. You must not smell like smoke in front of the customers.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So this shop, Hemp Health and Vape, has a Facebook page. Okay. So if you search that, Hemp Health and Vape, High Street, Northcote, they've got a Facebook page. So that
Yeah,
has ordering details, etc.
yeah, and they do internet orders.
Yeah.
They are brilliant. They're brilliant. They're not cheap. Like they're never going to win any discount awards, but they're fucking thorough. They're going to win solidity awards. If you bring a broken machine in, they will fix the machine or replace it. Basically, your machine is pretty much well, for them, it should last 5 years. No machine lasts 5 years. It just doesn't happen. They maybe last one if you're really careful too.
Yeah.
They don't last longer than that. But if you bring a broken machine in, they'll either repair it or. And I've seen them repair fucked up machines, and they come out looking beautiful, and you just go, "How did you do that?" Which reminds me, if anyone knows of a really good iPhone fixer, can you maybe leave a note?
Yes, because
my
he's having
iPhone
iPhone
fixer has
problems.
gone quiet for the congratulation, and he's brilliant. And my iPhone pisses me off. I can text, but I've dropped it so many times because of the hands. In its case, and the case is good, but case has got only so fucking much it can handle. And what's happened is people can ring up, and we can't hear each other, and that's not a phone anymore.
No, not anymore.
It's no longer a phone. And remember, you've bought technically a phone with add-ons. And the add-ons are great. But if it's no longer a phone, issues. So I can talk to people via the Skype, via the Zoom, via the Yard. What's this one called? StreamYard. It's sitting up the top.
Yes.
And I can do that. And Angry's going to be impressed to know that the fucking Wi-Fi here is so shit that half the time I'm using 4G.
Yeah. Yep.
So you know where that's going. I'll do what I can, dude. I'll do what I can. But sometimes I just can't get stuff that I need down, so I've got to just turn the Wi-Fi off and go 4G. And I'm aware of the fucking meter ticking over.
Oh, yeah.
And I get off it as soon as I can. But it's, expect a fairly chunky one. So, I'm not coming back for a while. And I'm unable to see anyone. I am unable to touch anyone. That's hard. That's hard because you're not allowed to touch the nurses at all, obviously.
Yeah.
And your loved ones, you're not allowed to meet. And if it's really, really important that you meet them, like if someone's died, or it's your birthday, or a pet has died, or something's important, they're allowed to go to the glass at the front of the hospital, and you stand in the hospital and they stand outside the hospital, and you wave at them through the glass. And if that doesn't make you feel like a prisoner, nothing will. Often I see people doing this and they've got their phones out talking to each other and they're crying. So what I do is I just Skype or Zoom people. So you've got face-to-face going and pretend everything's okay. And it's not. So be aware that there's nothing insurmountable. Take it on, Australia. I will.
Take it on.
I will be back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better and faster than ever.
Yeah.
and I will not. Oh, I've got my glasses on because we're together going to fill out my menu card, and we better do that soon. But yeah, be careful, people. So, filling out the menu card. Angry, have you got any more drinks you want to tell us?
No, but it's bedtime, actually.
Okay.
So if you've got stuff to do.
Breakfast Thursday. We've got, I'll tell you how many choices we've got as we go. We've got cereal, cornflakes, Wheat Bix, rice pops, natural muesli, that's out.
No.
Brown straws, also out.
No, fuck that.
And porridge.
No.
My call is Wheat Bix, but the other two are cornflakes and rice pops.
I'd be 50-50 between Wheat Bix and cornflakes, but maybe Wheat Bix, yeah.
So what are we talking, people?
Yeah. So, the ones you ruled out, I'm completely on board with that call. I would absolutely rule them out as well.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's a hospital. It's breakfast. You don't want to wake up to fucking diet food. You can have special grill. They will make you scrambled eggs, fried eggs. They'll make you bacon. They'll make you. Sometimes they'll make you hamburgers. Sometimes they'll make you. If you're really down, they'll say, "Have a special grill." Or if your diet sucks, my diet sucks, so they slip in extras every now and again. All right. So have we made a consensus decision on between cornflakes?
Oh, I think as soon as you said special grill, that got some votes. But Annette's just laughing at the apparent origin story of cornflakes is the deranged Dr. Kellogg had them as an anti-masturbation thing. But I think cornflakes. Oh, okay. So Raiders was just asking, was there anything practical to help? Look, although we haven't been pushing because we hit our original target, there's you can help with the bills on AIDS's front with the GoFundMe. It's still an actual thing. So that's AIDS's GoFundMe. The original target we met, and that was to pay some bills and get him a tablet so he could talk to us like this. That worked.
Beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the bomb. What I've got to do now is work out how to send phone messages, because you can send phone messages to iPhones.
Yes.
But you can't send phone messages to non-iPhones.
Yeah. Yeah, they call that iMessage or something like that.
Interwebs will tell me how to do it, but at the moment. Actually, though, I Skyped my mum, and she picked up her phone and answered. That was weird, and so that was interesting. So there's ways and means, okay? We'll work it out. Okay, so, all right. Between cornflakes and Wheat Bix, we've decided...
The only vote that came up was for cornflakes, but
okay, all right, that's what it is. Okay, so condiments, full cream milk, hot. We're definitely going for that.
Full cream milk. Yeah.
Full cream milk, cold. We're definitely going for that. And we've got sugar. We need sugar for the ×3, please. Okay. Stewed pears, bakery, wholemeal toast, white toast. What do we think?
Wholemeal can be dodgy. Depends what it is. I'd kind of lean towards white as a safety.
Yep. I'm leaning towards white because I can pretty much assure you that the wholemeal toast is white bread. It's coloured and it tastes bloody awful.
Yeah.
So we're also going to have, we've got a choice between butter and margarine. That's not much of a choice, is it?
No,
It's butter.
it's butter.
So it's butter, and we're going to have jam, honey, marmalade, jam, honey, or Vegemite. Vegemite we're not going to have because it comes in different styles.
I'd go jam. I don't know.
I'd go
Honey's
jam.
good, but I'd go
Jam's
jam.
good. Honey's good, but it's awkward in the morning.
Yeah, it gets messy.
Sticky, and you can fuck up. Okay, beverages. Full cream milk, low fat milk, flavoured milk, apple juice, orange juice, prune juice. I'm going to tell you eventually the story of the biggest turd in the world.
And okay, all of you, he has told me this. If get into your head, Aidsy wants to tell me a story about the biggest turd, and it's going exactly where your mind scares you into thinking it's going. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. No spoilers, but think Aidsy telling a story about giant turd. It's going in all the frightening places that you think it's going to go.
I've got an idea, Angry. Do you want to tell the giant turd story after go to bedtime?
I don't understand.
So we say, now it's go to bedtime. If you want to hang around, you can hear the giant turd story.
No, I'm literally going to bed. I'm going to bed now.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so we'll get through this quickly. It's between orange juice and prune juice. Again,
I don't know. Do you want the regular stuff happening?
Lunch, soup, pea and ham soup, or broth. Broth is water, which some child has pissed in for flavour. Pea and ham soup is really nice, so we're going there. Main course, roast turkey, cranberry sauce and gravy. Braised steak. Tofu and vegetable stir-fry with fried noodles. The bastards do this every now and again. They put 3 top dishes together and you go, what the fuck am I going to do? The braised steak is awesome, but I haven't had roast turkey for a while, so we're going roast turkey.
Yeah.
Roast steak. No, roast turkey. Okay. Salad. Fuck off. Sandwich. No, I've got to lose some more weight. Bread and spread. White bread and butter. Because that's really what it's there.
I'm just Stella. No, Aidsy told me the giant turd story, so he hasn't told it on a stream, but he told me, so I know the horror that awaits. Basically,
it's a horror. It's a horror story.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. You'll love it. I'll do it. When are we doing the next stream?
Oh, tomorrow's the plan.
Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow, sometime in the middle.
Yeah.
We'll set them up for it, and we'll do it.
Glee was saying she stayed where you are for 3 weeks once, so she likes it there.
How did you find it?
Well, she thinks you're better off there than St. Vincent's. So
yes, no question.
Yeah,
no question. You're way better off here. I've got my.
Well, everyone's saying you have told a big turd story where you blocked the pipes and had to convince everyone to flush at the same time, but that is not this story. This is a story about AIDS's physiognomy. So yeah.
Yep.
So it's different. It's different.
So full on.
Polo Mars, we're good, but about to go to bed. Polo Mars is in Twitch for anyone who wonders who I'm talking to.
Okay. Dessert, bread and butter pudding, custard. That's where we're going. And
that sounds good.
We've got custard, so we're doing that. Beverages, full cream milk, and orange juice. Right. Dinner. Soup, cream of chicken and corn, broth, cream of chicken and corn, main course, lamb cottage pie, very nice, pork and apple casserole.
Ooh, I'd go the lamb cottage pie.
Yeah, mild vegetable lentil curry can fuck right off. Lamb cottage pie. Salad can fuck off. Sandwich, no more. Bread and spread. White bread, butter. Okay, dessert, vanilla mousse with berry compote. Yes. Jelly, ice cream, custard. I've got a thing for jelly and I've got a thing for custard, and lately it's been custard. So custard it is. And beverages, full cream milk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Orange juice.
All right.
And
So,
I
Polo
have
Mars,
to do
yes.
15 laps of the
For your exercise.
ward,
The ward,
which is,
yeah.
you got to imagine like a big circular corridor.
Mm.
Yeah, like a big
Yes.
racing track.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my physio has told me every day I've got to do 15 laps, and I've done 2. So tonight
Okay.
I've got to do 13 laps
Got to do a few.
on my stick.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I've said a lot about don't take a lot of nitrous oxide all at once or for a long time. So thanks for listening to that.
That's okay.
I thought that was a good community service, and I thought
That was a good community service announcement.
And I thought that Angry's ice trick and drink was fucking awesome. I want to have.
I had to stop. You know, that moonshine mixed with the cream liqueurs was like. I was going, no, that shit's 45% alcohol. I have to stop drinking that.
Yeah. How many times has Angry made a drink, and you think, I could drink that a lot because it's like a flavored. It's like a flavored novelty drink, and you think 6 of those are gonna be on my fucking head.
Yeah.
And you just give your keys to someone else and go, keep coming until I vomit. So I would like, because I don't need these anymore because I've done my menu. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank Angry for his kind support. I would like to thank all of you. Send me a letter or two, because I like getting letters. And I have a plan about horror stories, which we're going to do as radio plays. And they're slowly coming together. I finally had the first decent idea. And it's a beauty. So I think once we get on a roll, these will come out really quick and really, really cool. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Love you, Andrew.
Quickly, Polo Mars, who just came into the chat, asked if we're in Australia. Yes, and it's 10 p.m, so I'm going to bed. But I love these little sign-off. He asked because the Angry Aussie name, and he used to live in Australia. They used to live in Australia. I don't know who they are. Used to live in Australia, went to live in the Philippines, lived with Americans, now confused about the accent I should have. I'm French, by the way. Polo Mars, I think you probably have one of the more interesting accents in the world.
Can you run through those again?
Well, lived in Australia, went to the Philippines, lived with Americans in the Philippines, but is actually French. So
I'm going to try that on.
Yeah.
Because you know how I do accents?
Yes.
I haven't been doing them for a long time, but I'm going to try it on because that's a lovely mix.
Yeah.
I reckon I could take it on. Because you've done, when we've got together.
I think with you, where you do melded accents,
when you've got this woman doing this, and she's lived here, and she's done this, and she's done that, and she's lived there, and I've had to pick it all and put it all together and done it, and nailed a few. I've fucked up a few, but I've nailed a few too. It's all about the diphthongs, people.
It is.
So, I'm going to take that on. What accent should he have? I should take on more accents.
Yeah.
I should do that because they're fun and they're easy to do. I will read out an angry letter from a different accent every couple of weeks.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. Angry is keen to go. Love you all. See you.
All right. Good night, all. You're all fantastic. See you again